Alrighty, daily trading recap for this Friday, the 8th of April, 2022. To Christ to be the glory, as always. No real trades for me. Didn't really touch anything non-futures wise today. I'll just go over some market internals quick before we start getting into that more, though. Hour, 15 minutes after the close, NASDAQ $221 billion volume. I see $175 billion volume. That seems very low and off. $2.0 billion volume on the OTC marker there. Did see the futures aspect with the 930 strat on SB 500, getting 2 points above there right out of the gate, and then also playing that session strategy once more. Now being able to, haven't done it today, but getting that bank ACH in to now start not leveraging up, but sizing myself up more with the actual ES contract size for both of those strategies now to be able to withstand the unrealized P&L losses and the eventual inevitable losses that are factored into that back-tested strategy there for that. So that's going to be exciting with that to continue to push that strategy and see how it plays out in the real world and just use that experience more and more to continue to build myself as a trader. And of course, the bank account. That's what we're here for, right? So no trades again on the day for me, but just wanted to mention quickly ADN. I was kind of watching for a third day potential move. I forget the specific float on this one, but obvious key resistance around 3.5-ish range on the volume profile side, and that is perfectly where it spiked to right out of the gate for a little morning, even prematurely a little bit during pre-market, but just before that morning bell. But with volume, like perfectly wicked here, this high was 355. I wasn't watching this one, keyed into it, but yeah, the reflection of it, I identified that spot and said, wow, it's for how quickly price moved there with big volume and for how it held, that would have been a very nice risk level too if I did want to get short. And of course, I still can't short at this point, but also working on that as well over the next few days to pad that account again so I can get back into the shorting side. But beautiful downside move immediately following that, and really not any hard test of VWAP of any key risk levels that would have forced me out of that position, and would have been a nice little beautiful morning trade on that one as well to the short side, when normally I would want to be looking at these third day surges as long plays, but respecting what the chart is actually saying there and identifying the real technical analysis of it at the end of the day. That's just what's going to speak the most volume. MDVL, and the base keeps running. Second day continuation, crazy after hours yesterday, like we talked about in that daily recap, and then immediately just surging pretty much right out of the gate today. Yeah, good to see that we're having continuation movers after their first green day. This one's a little bit different, of course. I hold it to a little bit of a different standard because it did spike after hours of the previous trading day versus spiking in the pre-market of that individual trading day. So I kind of look at those at a little bit of a different lens, but still in the same type of light a little bit. But yeah, it's not black and white by any means whatsoever. But yeah, just tough with all of these of, okay, well, do we think it's going to continue to go more? Do we think it's going to rip after it gets that initial spike and then starts to wedge or consolidate more? Okay, now it breaks to that low, but holds nicely again and starts squeezing with huge volume back to a new high of day. That is the freaking market, right? That is just the trickery that's continually evolving itself to happen for how many people want to be in and risk obvious key spots of this specific price and this specific price here, and just the tumultuousness that is trading these things at times. And even for how it was holding in the afternoon, clinging to VWAP very nicely, and then just eventually just biting the bullet and eating itself, still closing green on the day individually, and of course green, well, even green from previous trading close, obviously. But yeah, want to be continued to watch there. We'll see what ends up happening if any obvious levels start to arise from this thing, just respecting the fact of its ability to run, but of also its ability to just play these trickery, tomfoolery games, and the preservation of mental capital over anything, I think, is a big value to me as well. And just trading specific tickers like this when I do want to take maybe less convicted or less comfortable trades, in my view, as compared to what I feel is a more predictable and more sensible pattern for me and my personality. But that's MDVL and SBFM. Of course, we got to talk about huge 424B3 that I see came out. And it was funny to see that Tim Lento, he was freaking out in the chat over there was no effect coming out for this thing that just kind of came out of the blue and charge the SEC, we got to report this, of his picking up the pitchforks and torches there moment. But just coming out with that 424B3, I forget just look at there it is. 7.2 million shares, at $2.51 per share, looks like. Oh no, that's what it was listed as. $2.22 there. For that one on SPFM, I could totally see this though. It was a little bit more downside in the morning session after it had the initial huge panic of volume in pre-market there. Tried to rise a little bit above VWAP, but eventually started to close closer to that low of day once again. I could see this thing have a little bit of a move, maybe as we get into Monday or maybe as we get into Tuesday. If it doesn't continue to just break off more and die, that there could be shorts still bagged in this thing and start to test it once again. That we get maybe it doesn't break all the way above $12 or $13, but just has another run or attempt to the $10 range. I could see that if these levels start to hold again, and if shorts get a little bit too greedy and start to hold it longer than they should, get a little bit too greedy in that sense. So be keeping my eye out for that and just watching if any key technical levels or higher lows continually start to base themselves in, but also respecting, it's respect when the trend is dead. That would be fighting against the trend in the sense of when that offering's come out, when it's already been a parabolic play itself. It kind of following along that penny stock framework mindset already, or paradigm. So just keeping ourselves mindset along that track as well, not trying to create anything more than is really there, respecting what the chart is saying. That's all I had. Just very quick little recap today on not really trading anything. I do want to keep an eye on TKAT as well too. I think this is a pretty nice float or former runner. I also believe, 8.7 million float I'm showing here on the scanny scans. Former runner, this looks like this was back in 2021. 8 is August. I think it even did. I feel like it had another. Yes, there's the. Yeah, multiple runs. Okay, yeah. Big former runner. Anyway, coming up on a nice little technical little multi-day breakout pattern here. Did have an actual breakout that I would call it above where it was. Gosh, get it right perspective here. A little breakout attempt for this afternoon session as it was just kind of teasing these little 4.2 levels. 420 blaze it. 4.4 we get a little perk above, but of course still holding itself below that 4.88 mark. And then having this little rejection into the close for the weekend, which isn't the most suitable and would kind of be sucky if I was holding this thing from an afternoon position of getting an entry as it was holding VWAP here and looking for, as it's playing this move, I'm going, sweet, awesome. It's going to be a nice hold into the weekend, going to be a beautiful trade over the next few days. And then it just has this tank and selling off and closing below VWAP. And then you're just like, oh, okay, mixed feelings on it. So I still feel, because I have no position on it as of right now, that something still could happen, and my time horizon is a little bit bigger in a sense because I don't have a position in it already. So just continually to keep our eyes on that one, and make sure we're respecting price levels and just understanding cutting losses quickly and respecting what is there. Once again, that's just the biggest motto that I can put on all of these is push harder on what's working and just step away and not involve myself in the things that aren't. So that was all I had today on this quick little recap here. I sincerely thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one.